Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Mark Clements Postcards. It is time again for another What Sold video. I hope everybody had a good week of selling postcards or buying postcards or collecting postcards or maybe just a good week of life in general. Whatever it was, I hope you had one. But we are going to take a look at what I sold on eBay over the past week, as we always do, and we are going to look at a sampling of what sold, not all of it, just to give you a general idea of what kind of postcards people out there buy. Excuse me, Lucy and Ellie here. Lucy is on the right, Ellie is on the left. Lucy is Ellie's child, and they both work with me here in the office. They help to sort and pack and mail postcards and all kind of stuff like that. But this is their day off, so they just send you a happy hello, and we will now get started. Looking at the sales for the week, we can see that we sold, just eked out over $700, $701.24. Down a little bit from last week, but that's how eBay goes, up and down like a roller coaster. We sold 77 items. That was more than we sold last week, but our average sale price was $9.11, which was down a little bit. So funny how those numbers work. Sometimes you sell less items and make more money. Sometimes you sell more items and make less money. So when you figure that out, please let me know. Okay, so what makes up these numbers? Let's get started. The first card up. This is a view of the Oddfellows home, the Independent Order of Oddfellows Hall in Polk, Pennsylvania. And we can see this is a white border card. It is unposted. And that card was listed at $7.95. I took an offer of $7 on that. Next up, let's see, 8 cards were all purchased by one buyer. Unfortunately, didn't combine the listings on this. They were all purchased individually, but the same buyer nonetheless. The first one, and they're all railroad related. The first one here is the B&O Railroad Centenary card. It was a series of cards issued to celebrate that anniversary. The first here is the Camel locomotive, and I think I took offers on almost all these. This was listed at $5.95. Took an offer of $5. The next one is a fold-out card. Again, the centenary edition of these cards. This is the Santa Fe locomotive. And you can see, again, fold-out card. It is unused. That one was listed for $7.95. I want to say I took an offer of $6 on that one. This buyer had made me a handful of offers, and so when I saw the same person buying all of them, I was a little bit more willing to be more generous on my discounts. Next one up is the York locomotive. Again, you can see it's that same style from that series, unused. That again listed at $5.95, sold that one for $5. This one is not within that series, but still railroad related. This is the Northwestern Railroad Depot in Chicago, Illinois. This is a pretty attractive looking card. Some nice, got a ship there and some signs. There's a sign for Quaker Oats. A nice colorful looking card. It has this little symbol up here that says I will. There were a series of cards that came out with that little emblem on it. I don't know much about those or why that emblem is on there. Perhaps, again, someone out there could give me a little bit more info and tell me about that. This is a divided back card, again, unused, listed at $7.95. I think I took an offer of $6. Next card, same buyer again. This is the Dearborn Street Railroad Station in Chicago. It's a nice horse-drawn wagons in front. Again, a divided back card. It is unused. This one says $7.95, and I honestly don't know if I took an offer. Probably took an offer of $6 on that one. And then we're back into the Centenary Edition cards. This is the William Mason locomotive. And those cards, as you can see, were issued in 1927. It was a 100-year anniversary. So that would make this, let's see, what would that make this? That would put this in the white border era. Again, unused. Took an offer of $5 on that one. And the last card up for that buyer, the last of 8. This is the Raton Tunnel, highest point on the Santa Fe Railroad. This is in Colorado. And we can see this again, undivided back card. It is not used. And in keeping with the tradition of this purchase, this is listed at $5.95, but I took an offer of $5. So that's all 8 cards for that one buyer. And you'd have to add that up. I don't know what that adds up to. Next up, we have a view of New York City, a panorama of Manhattan that includes the World Trade Center. And this is a Continental era card. As you can see, it's also postally unused. A nice view of Manhattan. And views that include the World Trade Center are collectible for obvious reasons. And this one sold for $4.95. Here we have another Continental card. I don't sell many, but I do sell a few. This is a view of a train on the Kinzua Viaduct, the Knox and Kane Railroad. It is Marionville, PA, is the mailing address, according to this. Again, a Continental card. It is unused. This viaduct, this bridge, this train trestle, as you can see here in the picture, was destroyed by a tornado about 20 years ago, and now there is a state park there. Part of the bridge remains intact, and you can walk out on it and view the wreckage of the bridge is still laying in the valley here. And that's something that you can actually go and see. I think they have a museum there as well. But that card sold for $5.95. Next, we have a view in Latonia, Ohio. This is the Methodist Church. A divided back card, unused. That sold for $4.95. I think this card and the next 2 are to the same buyer. Here we have a view in North Bell Vernon. This is a view on Broad Avenue. Another divided back card. It's not used, but obviously early 1900s. This one sold for $9.95. And last card to that same buyer is a view of Charleroi, PA. This is the Charleroi Bridge. And we have a steamboat. Looks like it's entering into the lock there. There's a dam, and there's a lock for moving boats and ships from one water level to the other. This is a divided back card that was used in 1911, and that one sold for $7.95. Here we have an interesting card. This is a card titled Launching the Boat. This is a life-saving team that were typical along the eastern coast, many of them on New Jersey seashore towns. This doesn't identify the exact town where this took place, but probably fair to say Atlantic City, Ocean City, something like that. And here we see the team getting their boat ready, but what's nice about this card is the border. It has a really attractive nautical border. Here you can see an anchor, and here's a lighthouse with the beam going out. Here's a ship's wheel, and we see some ropes and pulleys. And so it has a very attractive nautical border. That one sold for $7.95. Here, another railroad-related card. This is the Colorado C&N Railroad, or I should say it's in Mount Alto Park, Colorado, the C&N Railroad, and it's very likely that C stands for Colorado, like Colorado and Northwestern or something like that, I would imagine. This is a divided back card. Again, it is unused. Here you can see the train coming up the grade there. That one sold for $7.95. Railroads, trains, really good topic. Here's an interesting card. This is a card in relative to the International Order of Elks. It is in Buffalo. Obviously, there was a convention. This is dated 1905. It's an undivided back card. There was a convention, an Elks convention in Buffalo in 1905. This card says, I guess for the people who attended, to mail home that they arrived safe in Buffalo, New York in 1905. And it says convention and reunion. You can see that it was posted, obviously. And I listed this card, really didn't find a comp on this exact card. So I put it up at $14.95. It had an offer within an hour. So I suspect I probably underpriced this. So again, I'm asking you out there in the audience. I know there's some pretty knowledgeable people out there. What's your thought on this card? Did I underprice this? Was it a good price and it just caught a quick buy, or I don't know. Anyway, I was offered $13 on this and I accepted that offer. Next up, we have a view in Evanston, Illinois. This is Commercial Park and the Public Library. A divided back card. It says Albert type, and it does have the kind of a look of hand coloring on it. This one sold for $5.95. Then we have a lot of cards. This is a lot of 100 holiday and greeting cards from an old album. If you saw my video a couple weeks back where I bought 3 old albums, they were literally falling apart. These cards came from there after I had picked out what I thought was the better cards and what I wanted to list individually. I then took all of the greeting cards that were left from those 3 albums and put them together into one lot, and that's what this lot represents. Here you see Bon Natal, that's like a New Year's card. Then we have New Year's again, Christmas wishes. And this would be a new year for 1904, little boy with pennies. Happy New Year, Happy Easter, another joyful Easter, Happy Easter to my dear sister, Easter wishes, purple bells, Christmas greetings, Christmas. So that's a sampling of the type of cards that were in there. Here's a few more. There's another New Year. There's a New Year with the stork delivering a baby. We have New Year's to my sweetheart. Just a general greeting there. And another pretty Christmas greeting. So that was a lot of 100 plus cards. I started at, I believe, at $9.95. And that finished with 7 bids at $46.77 plus shipping. Next up, we have another lot. This is a lot of 100 Florida, all Florida, unused linen. So all Florida, all linen, all unused lot. Here we see a sampling. There's a view in Bayfront Park, Miami. There's a view on the beach. There's a view in St. Petersburg at the Beach Club, Hialeah Race Course in Hialeah, Florida, seen at Fort Myers. I get back to St. Petersburg on the Municipal Pier, church in Sanford, Million Dollar Pier, St. Petersburg, view of Palm Beach, yacht basin in Miami, and so on. So a pretty nice, attractive lot of cards, all unused, so they're suitable to be mailed or nice for a reseller. And that lot sold for $19.95 with free shipping. So that is a very good buy for a reseller. Here's a real photo postcard. This is a view in Lamoille, Illinois. This is South Main Street looking south, and you can see it's a dirt street by the looks of the picture here. It is postally used in 1909, but looks like it's in nice clean condition. That card sold for $24.95. Next up, another buyer who bought multiple cards. This buyer bought 3. Oh, I'm sorry. No, he didn't buy 3. He bought 8 or 9, I believe. Every one of these from Penn State College in State College, Pennsylvania. So let's just take a quick look. There's the main gate at the college. There is a view of the State College Hotel. That looks like a chrome card there. There's an older card, the main building. Yeah, it's a divided back main building at the college. Then we have the engineering building at State College. Again, an old divided back card, unused. Here's a white border era card, 1920. This is McAllister Hall. This is the main engineering building. Now, a couple of these cards I kind of refrained from listing for a while because if you see down here, someone actually typewrote. This isn't printed on the card. Somebody put these in a typewriter and typed on the front what we were looking at. And I thought that would be kind of discouraging to buyers. But I decided, what the heck, I'm going to list them and see what happens. And this person obviously didn't have a problem with that because they bought several of them, like this one. Here is, this isn't one of the typed ones. This is the Sparks building. Then we do have another typed one. This is the Mineral Industries building. And lastly, we have the Agricultural and Engineering building. So 3 of these cards had typewriting on the front, but I guess the buyer was not bothered by that. So that was a total of 9 cards for a total of $48.55. So not pretty nice sale there. Then we have a non-postcard item. This is a Rolling Rock Beer embroidered patch. This is a large patch which measures, 9 inches wide by 4. So it's a rather large patch, and I got a bunch of things like this at an auction a couple of years ago that was strictly Rolling Rock Beer memorabilia, and I picked up a good pile of stuff there. This is one of those. I've sold a lot of these. I only have a few of them left. And this one went for, I think I took, it's listed for $5.95. I think I took an offer of $5. Next up, here is a real photo postcard. This is a couple gentlemen riding the Smoky City Express. And this is a studio post photo. As you can see, the background is fake, probably scene painted on a canvas or painted on a wall or some kind of a backdrop. And you see a lot of these in early turn of the century cards, especially in places of tourist attractions like Atlantic City and things like that. People would have their picture taken with a fake backdrop. These gentlemen happen to be riding a train. We can see the card is unused, and by the Azo stamp box, yes, definitely in the early 1900s, pre-1920. And that card sold for $5.95. Sometimes they can go for considerably more depending on what the subject matter is. Here is another lot of cards. This is 100 Assorted Eras, U.S. States, Towns, and Views. So these cards are used and unused, but they're just an assortment of things. Let's see. We have the post office in Liverpool, Ohio. Temple of Music in Ohio again. A bridge in Louisville, Kentucky. There's a ship. There's a scene at the University of Michigan. There's a view in Watertown, New York. Municipal Pier, Chicago. View in Detroit, Michigan. Here's the scene at Winona Lake. Syracuse, New York. Horseshoe Curve in Altoona, PA. Bridge over the gorge in Rochester. So again, you get the idea. It's a mixture of U.S. views. This lot was listed, starting price $19.95, got one bid at $19.95. Here is a leather patch. This is something that was put in packs of tobacco back in the day. A lot like they used to put tobacco cards, are a very collectible item that they used to include in packages of tobacco. At one point, they also included leather patches that featured emblems from colleges and universities. This one is from New York University. This is a small patch. Let's see, the measurements are 2.5 inches by 2. So kind of small. You can get an idea of that. And it is blank on the other side, just printed here on the one side like this. And this sold for $9.95. Back to postcards. Here we have an advertising postcard. This is a advertising card for Toro mowers, sprinkler systems, and golf carts. So there we see a mower. There's a sprinkler system. There's a golf cart. There's a golf cart. There's a snow thrower. So all kind of things on there. Chrome era card, unused, but nice advertising. That sold for $5.95. I had 2 of those. That was the last one. Here's another non-postcard. This is a Harley Davidson Rider's Handbook from 1950. I didn't really buy this book. This was just in a box of postcards that I bought. I also had some random things in there. This was among them. As you can see, it's not in the greatest of condition. It's gotten wet at some time, and the color from the red cover has bled onto some pages, but you can also see water stains on the pages. Now, it's still readable, but not in the best of condition. So, but Harley-Davidson items are collectible, and I decided I threw this on here for $9.95, and it sold rather quickly. But considering the condition, I'm happy with that. Next up, another buyer with multiple cards. This buyer bought 3 cards. The first here is, and I hope you can see this. I can't really make it any, I guess I can make it a little bit bigger, but can't see the whole card at once. This is Eddie Feather's Austin Manor Orchestra, dated 1934. It's a real photo. So I'm going to guess Eddie's the guy in the front, and you can see his orchestra there in the back. Again, a real photo dated 1934. The second card is also Eddie Feather's Orchestra. Here they are at their instruments. There's the guy's piano, there's a drummer, there's a couple saxophone players. They got a trumpet player there in the back, or some kind of horn. That guy looks like he might have a piccolo or a flute of some kind. A guy back there with a trombone. And I don't know if Eddie is it, and that might be Eddie there, I don't know, or Eddie's not in the picture, not sure. Again, real photo postcard. It was dated 1934. Each of those, well, no, I guess they didn't. The first one, this one, sold for $9.95. And the second one of the orchestra with their instruments sold for $14.95. And then the last card with that buyer is a photograph of a French actress, Sophie Leclerc. This card is dated 1955. I believe it is also a real photo, if you look at it closely. And on the back, what is interesting, it has a little message here. It's in, the writing on the card is in French, but there's a handwritten message that says, "Dear Alvin, a remembrance of our rendezvous in Paris, signed Sophie." Now, did Sophie actually write that to this person? I don't know. Was it pre-printed? It doesn't look like it. It looked like actual handwriting. Was it a joke that somebody else wrote that message and said, I don't know. It could be the real thing. I've never heard of Sophie, but nonetheless, somebody thought that was interesting, as I did. And that one sold for $5.95. So 3 cards to the same buyer for a total of $30.85. Next up, this is a view in Staunton, Virginia, of the Western State Hospital. A white border card, postally used, 1917. This was, if you saw my most recent video of our trip to I-76 Antique Mall in Ohio, this is one of the cards that I purchased there. And this card sold very quickly at $12.95. Here is a real photo view of the Hotel Del Monte in Monterey, California. Kind of an aerial view looking down there. It is not postally used. It's a real photo, as you can see, early 1900s view. And the photograph itself, we could look closer down here in the corner. I guess you can't see it because this little thing kind of blocks it. The photo is dated copyright 1920, so that's why I have a date of 1920, even though it's not posted. We don't have a postmark. But that real photo view was listed for $9.95. I took an offer of $8. Then we have another buyer who purchased 3 postcards. First one here is a view in Charleston, South Carolina, King Street. Nice street view. There's a police officer directing traffic, some old autos. You can see some signs as you look down there. That's a white border card. It is unused. Then we have the Clarendon County Courthouse in Manning, South Carolina. A chrome view, unused. And the last, also South Carolina, so this person is a collector of things South Carolina. This is the B. Lee Rooms and Apartments in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Linen card, unused. And this also was a recent purchase at I-76 in Ohio. So a total of 3 cards for $19.85. Here's another card I bought at I-76. This is a view of a Red Ball moving truck. You see it is a Chrome Era card. Here's a little advertisement on the back. Your moving specialist with red carpet service. And there's their truck. I purchased 4 of these. This is the first one to sell for $5.95. Here's another view from I-76. That was most of what I was listing this week, since that was a fresh batch of cards, so no surprise that I've sold a few of them. This is a view in Lyons, New York. It says, view from elevation in rear of Wayne County home. Now, I don't know if that means a home in Wayne County or Wayne County home as in retirement home or home for the aged. I'm not sure. It looks like a lot of buildings there, although it could be a farm, I guess, but I do see a lot of buildings, so maybe it means county home. Regardless, it is a divided back card, looks to be hand colored, as you can see there. and that sold for $8.95. Another view from I-76. This is a view at South Wellfleet in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. This is the Marconi wireless station. I'm not sure. This looks like a divided back card, but it could be a little newer than that, maybe Linen era. But you can see all of the towers here. There's a lot of wire for wireless, but I guess they mean it's wireless in that you can send radio waves through the air. But you can see all the towers here. This card sold rather quickly too. It was listed at $12.95. I took an offer of $11.95. Another card from my I-76 Safari. This is Grandma Brown's Baked Beans in Mexico, New York. This card sold quickly as well, and the person who purchases told me that they had a relationship to this company and that they had had some of Grandma Brown's baked beans and attested that they were good. So she purchased this card. I actually saw two of these as I was looking through the cards at I-76, and I wish I had just gone ahead and picked up the second one, but I only got this one, and it sold for $5.95. Here is a view of the LDS Tabernacle, meaning Latter-day Saints Tabernacle in Montpelier, Idaho. It is a real photo view. You can see the back. It's unused. That one sold for $7.95. Getting down to the end here. Here we have a view of Sioux Indian chiefs. So I assume everybody we're looking at here is a chief. This is a Linen era card. It is postally used. Don't see the year. The postmark kind of ran off the edge. Don't see the year, but it's a Linen era card, so we're somewhere in the 40s or 50s, no doubt. And here they are all lined up. That one sold for $4.95. Another view. I think this is our last. Let me click this real quick. Yeah. This is our last one for today. This is another lot. This is a lot of 100 unused U.S. states and towns chrome and linen. So they are all unused, and they are about a 50-50 mixture of chrome era and linen era cards. Just to give you a sampling, there's a trolley, there's some covered bridges, there's a motel, another motel and swimming pool, probably a courthouse somewhere, there's a restaurant, there's a ship, glass-bottom boat, a view looks like probably in Miami or somewhere in Florida. There's the Badlands in South Dakota, Toffin Eddie's restaurant in New York, a chapel somewhere, Dean Martin's Palm Spring home. So again, like the other lots, it's a mixture of things. And this one sold for $19.95. So that was probably about half of what I sold, but a good sampling of what I sold. So that was all for this week as far as sales go. And I hope you enjoyed that portion of our video.
The next segment will sharpen your geography skills and better acquaint you with the fascinating city of Greensburg, Pennsylvania. Mark will show us some more postcard images of his hometown and describe each one in a way that only he can. There may be a pop quiz afterward, so pay close attention.
Yes, indeed, Professor. We are going to take another look at some more Greensburg postcards, the town where I was born and raised and still currently reside after almost 70 years. Oops, I think I gave my age away there. Let's start off with a card that is near and dear to my heart. This card is of the ITE Company in South Greensburg, also known as Railway and Industrial engineering company. Let me reduce this now. I know that you enjoy my rugged handsomeness, and that's one of the reasons that you tune in. But I don't want to distract from the postcards. So let me make myself smaller. That's better. Wow, we can see the entire card. This is the ITE company where my father worked for 40 years. He started working here before I was born, and he retired from here. They make electrical products, and my dad worked in many different departments over the years. But at the time that he retired, he was a switch panel wirer. He wired electrical circuit panels. And you can see this is a rather old view. This one was posted in 1952 as probably about the time my dad started working there. And you can see the old automobiles here. And at this time, we lived right to the right of where this view ends. We lived about 100 yards away on Broad Street, so it was very convenient. My dad could walk to work. But he actually even did after we moved from there. He walked to work for many, many years. Next, we have a view at Seton Hill College in Greensburg. This college was originally known as St. Joseph's Academy. So maybe I should show you that picture first. Here's a card of the gate to St. Joseph's Academy. And you go up a tree-lined road to get to the school, and it's still like that today. And this is a view when it was known as St. Joseph's Academy, as you can see up here. This is the main building we were just looking at on the other card, the administration building. And here's another one of the school buildings over here. So this is when it was known as St. Joseph's, and then it became Seton Hill College. Again, this is a different view, but of the same building, the administration building, as you see here on this white border era card. And this is part of the tree-lined lane you see going up here and to here as well. And then this is an older view. This is a newer view, probably done in the 50s or 60s of that same administration building, a chrome card. And today it has grown even more, and today it is a university. It is known as Seton Hill University. So there's a couple different views. There, and there, as it has grown over the years. Next up, we have a card. I actually used this card in the production of my thumbnail, if you noticed. This is a scene at the racetrack in Greensburg, where they used to actually have horse races, as you can see clearly in this picture. The site where this used to be is now a recreational complex known as Kirk S. Nevin Recreation Center. There's an ice skating rink there. There's a swimming pool there. There's softball fields and all kind of things you can do here. A running track that goes around, basically kind of like this racetrack went around. The running track encircles the entire facility, and that's what was there then, and it's not like that now, of course. Here is a view at the Pennsylvania State Police Barracks in Greensburg. This was located on Mount Odin, and they still have a barracks there. This is the card of the main building there. I haven't been up there in many, many, many years. Don't know if this building or any part of it still exists. Probably not. And in this other view, you can see a group of state police there at the main gate on horses. They used to be mounted on horses back in the day. I don't think any of them ride horses yet today, unlike the Canadian Mounted Police, which probably still ride horses. Next up, we have an interior view. This is an interior view at the Strand Theater building of the Department of Accounting and Banking Office Training School. This is an old white border card, and probably from the mid-1910s or probably into the 1920s maybe. This Strand Theater building does not exist anymore, but this is what it was used for at one time, in addition to being a theater. Next up is a view of the Country Club in Greensburg. This building too also exists, but it has been added onto over the years, and it's been quite enlarged and expanded. It doesn't look exactly like this anymore, but this building does retain some of the features of the original. And this country club still open today. Up until about a year ago, they used to hold an annual antiques show there, and I had gone there a few times and picked up some postcards there, but unfortunately, after COVID, they aren't holding it there anymore. Next up, we're going to take a look at some schools in Greensburg. This is the 7th Ward Public School building. I'm pretty sure this building still exists. It's an office building today. Here is the 2nd Ward Public School building. This school does not exist today. You can see to the left here, over here, a couple other buildings, but this yellow one here in the middle was the old high school, which we will see in a minute. And this building does not exist today, and this area is now the junior high school occupies this piece of ground. Next, we have a real photo. This is a view. Let me switch back. No, not that. I don't know which building this is. I'd have to do a little bit of research. It's not identified on the back, other than I know it's Greensburg. But I don't believe that this school exists anymore. But I wish I could tell you. There's some writing above here. Maybe with a magnifying glass I could see it, but regardless, it's one of many school buildings that used to exist in Greensburg that are no more. Here is a view of the number 1 public school. I believe this one here is the same school as is pictured here. It's just a different view. Again, you can see the old high school down here, and this is the number 1 public school, yet over here they called it the 2nd Ward Public School, so had different names, I guess. Here is the 4th Ward School and Grammar School buildings. You can see here the 4th Ward School to the left. It's the red building. That building does not exist today. This other building that they refer to as the Grammar School building does exist today, and it's again used as offices. So many of the old school buildings, if they still exist, many do not, have been converted to office space. Talking about the old high school that we saw in the other picture, this is a much better view of it. You can see the entire building. This, at one time, was the Greensburg High School, and it was replaced by this building, which became the Greensburg High School. And today, this building is no longer the high school. It serves as the middle school. And today, the high school is in this building. This is a much newer, modern facility. This is the Greensburg Salem High School. At one point, Greensburg, the city of Greensburg, merged with Salem Township, and they built this building here. It's a much larger facility with a lot more grounds that has room for, athletic fields and things like that. So they were kind of limited in space when they were back here on North Main Street. and even so in this building, but now they are in this newer building and they have much more room to spread out there. Next up, we have a real photo view. This card is only identified on the back as Greensburg, but I do recognize it because of the Troutman's dry goods store building over here. And up here at the very top, we can see a little bit of the courthouse, which is always a landmark. So this is a view on Main Street. It looks like a parade. There's some men on horses. I see some gentlemen here with musical instruments marching down here. And they're about to get run over by a trolley coming down the street. So a parade of some sort. Not sure what the event was, but probably way back in the very early 1900s. Another real photo view of a parade. This one also is only identified on the back as Greensburg, but doesn't give the specific location. And looking at it, again, I would have to do some research. I don't know specifically what street we are on here and at what corner this is. There is an intersecting street I can see. Not sure where this is, but I can see some float coming down the street here, and here's some vehicles as well, and then there look to be some military personnel here marching, and it would look like they came down the street and turned and went in this direction. I guess I'm a little bit of a lazy collector in that I bought this card because it was Greensburg, but I've never taken the time to really identify exactly what this is showing. Next up, we have an aerial view of the Walworth Company. We are going to look at a couple more cards from there in a second, but this is a nice aerial real photo view, and it shows the entire complex there. At one time, this was one of the major employers in Greensburg. They produced valves there, and many people, when I grew up, many of the kids I ran around with their dads, and sometimes even their moms, worked here. We had a couple major industries. We had the Walworth Company. There was ITE, where my dad worked, and there was also Pittsburgh Plate Glass Company. All three of those very large facilities were located within half a mile, maybe at the max, quarter a mile of each other. So at one time, Greensburg and South Greensburg here was a very heavy industrial area and employed a lot of people in the Greensburg area. But unfortunately, all of that is gone now. This area here where the Walworth complex is now looks nothing like this. All but one of these buildings are gone, and now it is inhabited by places like Burger King and McDonald's and Wendy's and a steakhouse and office buildings and things like that. My dad's company, ITE, is still in existence under another name now. It is called Brown Boveri, so that company is still in operation. And the PPG plant is long gone, and that building is mostly offices. This is another view of Walworth, which at this time of this card was known as the Kelly and Jones Company. They still did the same thing. They produced industrial type brass fittings and valves. Here you can see the many railroad tracks that go by the factory there. And this is Huff Avenue that crosses these tracks and goes in this direction. If we refer back to the real photo view, that would be, here are the railroad tracks here to the right running this way. Huff Avenue crosses them and comes down to, this is South Main Street, which runs into Route 119. So this is South Main Street, and you can see the size of that complex. Again, the view of an older view when it was Kelly and Jones. And this is a different view looking from a different direction. if I go back to the real photo, it would be over here somewhere, and at a little bit more of a distance, someone took this photograph, and you can see the many buildings here, but from much more of a distance there. It's a little bit harder to make out what's going on, but that's the same location there. This is a much clearer view to see everything. But moving on, let's see, we have Adler's Restaurant. This was on Otterman Street in Greensburg, near the where many of the theaters were located, and behind the or nearby to the courthouse. So it probably served a courthouse personnel as well, like for lunch and things. But this restaurant does not exist anymore. And this is a rather unusual, a little hard to find card. And let's see, lastly for today, this is a view at the county home in Greensburg. We don't refer to things as county homes or retirement homes or rest homes anymore. But this was the county home where you would go if you were aged and could not take care of yourself, had no place to live. This building does not exist anymore, although there is still a facility on this same piece of property that serves the same purpose. The facility here today is now known as Westmoreland Manor, and it is a home for the aged, and but we don't use that term anymore, county home. It's just now referred to as Westmoreland Manor. So that was the last card I had for you today. Again, some more glimpses of things around my hometown, things that used to be mostly, some things that still were. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and I thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give us a like. If you're not subscribed to our channel, please do so. That helps us to grow and reach more people. If you have any comments you'd like to make, we welcome those as well. And as always, we thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.